Different vibe today. Marissa,
What?
to my right. It's weird. Is that where you sat last week when I was out?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I
welcome
wanted to
back.
stay here.
Liv's cameo just now. Welcome back. Welcome. Patrick.
Pat.
Why do you put Patrick in the list?
I don't know. I always put that in there.
How did you?
I like going by Pat better.
How did
I
you
don't like
find
saying-
us?
I was following Kate Chinsky on Instagram and saw that she was in studio here.
That's so
And-
funny.
And she tagged you, and I clicked on that. And
She, her one-time podcast experience. Has she been back? No, never been back. The big crime of podcasting is that people start and they're like, get all excited and they don't do it again. Right? So, what promoted you to kind of like join us today then?
just I saw that. I figured I'd fill it out and see if you guys selected me to come on. And
All right.
There's
Vibe.
just a lot of competition,
Yeah.
so you got really lucky.
So, tell us about yourself. You're a Baltimore native. You come from Overly area. Tell us a little bit more about who you are, what you do.
Yeah, I grew up in Overly. Moved to Perry Hall for a few years. I'm back in Overly now. I've been.
There we go.
Yeah, I've played soccer my whole life, and I went to school, got my degree in sports management from Towson. Started working for DC United in Major League Soccer.
What did you do for DC United?
Ticket sales.
What? Jeez.
Still not excited. I didn't play for it, but we did. There were a few times because the staff at that time we were all young 20 something males.
Okay.
So there was one particular a couple week stretch where they had a lot of injuries. So they came to the sales staff and were like, "Hey, who wants to come down and help us train?" So we're like, "Oh, we'll get to run around with them." But
That's a vibe.
they were using us as walls. Like I remember one time I was on the end of the wall and a free kick come whizzing by my head. I'm like, I'm not doing this again. I mean, it buzzed right by.
Dude, when you see it in slow-mo, like when you watch those replays in slow-mo, those guys go full up and down and their heads move just like a little bit. You're like, I don't even know how you didn't just... Those balls are common.
Yeah.
So they were just using you as basically target practice. Interesting. Okay. How long were you with them?
I was there with them for about 2.5 years.
When was that?
That was 2006 through about mid 2008.
Okay.
And then I was on my way down to RFK because I still lived in the Overlay area. We driving to RFK every day, and I got stuck in a massive traffic jam right where I'm not sure if you're familiar with getting to RFK. There's a 295 and New York Avenue split.
Okay.
On 295, there was a tractor trailer on fire. On New York Avenue, a pickup truck had flipped.
Oh my
So
God.
There's an old Pepsi bottling plant right before that. I sat there for 4 hours, had to cancel all my meetings I had scheduled that day because my whole plan was to go in the office, get on the metro, go to these meetings, sell tickets. I had to cancel everything, and the only way to turn around was to go into RFK. And by the time I got in there, my boss was like, "You can go home. Like, just go home. You've had a day." I'm like, "Yeah."
Jeez.
So on the way home, a group that was trying to start a professional team in Baltimore called. And they called at the perfect time because I was like, I'm tired of this drive. I loved working for DC United, but I want to grow soccer in Baltimore. So they offered me a job. I took it, but 4 of my first 6 paychecks bounced.
Yeah.
I'm like, but I don't want to go down to DC anymore because their office is. I was walking to work, and I'm like, oh, I can't beat that. So I was like, I don't want to go back to DC. I'm not sure what to do. So I got into the Career Changers program, and I was a teacher for 11 years, and did not want to do that. First weekend, I'm like, I got to do something else. Get out of teaching. So I'm like, I want to do something in soccer, and that's how Crab Kickers came about. And
Damn.
And as I grew it, I left teaching. This is my 4th school year out of teaching, and I'm like, that's one of my motivators to keep this going, so I don't have to go back to teaching.
You're
So-
the second person on our podcast to say that.
Yeah.
Really? Who was the other?
What is her?
Was it Jacob? No.
She does the florals.
Oh, Alex?
Alex, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she was like, it was the first week of school too, and she was like, I'm so glad to not be there.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I've seen from the people that I've known in that industry is that you have a real passion for it. Like it takes something special to be a teacher. And, huge shout out to anyone that is doing that. But it's like a high burnout rate. I mean,
Yeah.
if you make it past 3 or 4 years, like you're really a unique teacher, and then you get to a point where you're like, is this what I want to do for the rest of my life? And it's a real challenge, I think, especially in today's market, today's world, with parents and political world. I couldn't even imagine being a teacher.
I went to school for that too, to be an elementary school teacher. And then after the first year, it was like, no, I can't do this. It got way too political. I was like, what is happening right now?
I could totally see you being a teacher though. I
know I really wanted to, but like all we talked about was like school. And like, I was like, okay, this is not for me.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't sign up for this.
I would not be made out for it because I would be the one that like throws a kid through a desk. Yeah. Right. I think that helps kids grow. Mm-hmm. Right. Like I was brought up on that. Yeah. Right. If you don't listen, you're going to learn real fast. But now, I mean, I actually did coach soccer for a short while, and I had a couple of unique experiences in that. But my favorite one was we weren't allowed to cut anyone from a high school soccer program, so that was a little interesting. But then by the end of the season, the one person that didn't get a lot of playing time, their mom got really involved in parent-teacher conference and principal and athletic director and myself and assistant coach, and everyone got involved. And it's like, why are we here? And push came to shove, I genuinely believe that she was there to exploit the opportunity for, let's just say, political agenda. But when I, as a coach, wouldn't sort of allow that to go on, I was sort of just like very political in my responses. My dad's an attorney, so he kind of like, had a very political response my whole life. I think it just eventually she quieted down, but she was looking for that political agenda, and I can't operate in that space continuously. It's just, man, being a teacher is tough.
Yeah.
Whew.
It's very political.
Very political. So now you're 4 years out of that, and you're doing Crab Kickers, which for those that don't know, youth soccer program based out of Perry Hall, right?
Yeah, we have programs in 20 areas across the state.
Wow.
Harford County, Baltimore County, we get Eastern Shore, even do Easton, Cambridge, and Salisbury.
Wow.
We have a program in Annapolis. And
so when you say a program, what does a program consist of? Is it a certain number of teams, certain number of kids?
Well, we don't have teams per se. We are a once a week program. Some of our locations we have programs going 6 days a week. So it's for 18 months all the way up to 12 years old. So
wow.
So they do. So a parent will sign up, say, in Perry Hall for Saturday at 10 o'clock for the 3 and 4 year olds. So that's what they do for 8 weeks. At same time, same location for 8 weeks, and then. And we do 4 seasons. So we do all 4 seasons of the year. We do summer camps, spring break camps, holiday camps. So, and ours, it's non-competitive. So like the Mommy and Me and 3 and 4s, they don't play games. They'll play like fun, different, each week will be a different theme, like a pirate theme 1 week, under the water. So they do different games based on that.
That's so funny.
And then like the 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 12s, the last like 10 minutes of their session time, they'll split in half and they'll scrimmage. So that's about the extent of their no scores are capped, there's no all the competitiveness is pretty much taken out of it. So it's more about falling in love with the game and, developing some of your skills with the ball. Okay,
interesting. So it's really about, kind of helping people gain that confidence.
Yes.
How many kids come to you with any level of experience?
It ranges. Like obviously like the Mommy and Me, like the 18 months, they have like no experience, but
right.
Some of our 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 year olds, 7, 9s, like this is their first time playing soccer. Because originally we stopped at 6, but then we had so many kids that aged out and went club or went rec, and they're like, oh, we like the once a week aspect, so because we can do other things. We're not at practice 2-3 times a week, and then games on the weekends, tournaments on the weekends. So we start going a little older, and there's some kids that probably should be playing club soccer that are in our programs.
That's crazy.
But their parents are just like, we don't want to pay that kind of money and that commitment. Wow. And then we also, on the other hand, we have kids that have never played soccer before because they felt they may have got an interest in it too late, and where the rec or club is too high level for them. In our program, we vary it based on their ages and ability. Like the 7, 9s, 10, 12s, probably 50 of the 60 minutes, they each have their own ball at their feet, doing different things with it, playing different games, so they're getting touches on the ball. And then the only time they really don't have the ball is that last 10 minutes when they're scrimmaging. I
can imagine that would actually develop a more skillful player, just because 60 minutes of consistent work once a week is much better than going to 3 practices where you're like circling through lines, kicking the ball once towards the goal and then circling to the back of the line. That's interesting.
And that's one of the things we tell our coaches. Like we give them a curriculum, we give them like everything they need, but we stress to them that don't like the 3 L's, like no laps, no lectures, no lines. There's one little game that we play with the mommy and me. That's the only time any of our kids stand in a line. After that, pretty much they're active their entire session. Besides when they get their drink breaks, and
that's sweet.
So we want the coaches to get in, talk to the kids, get into their activity, get into their ball skills or warm up, whatever they're doing, and just try to get it flowing. So then the parents are getting a good value out of it. So for 45 minutes, like our mommy, me, and 3 and 4s are 45 minutes. So they're probably active on the ball, probably 40, 41 of the minutes. You take a minute or two for 2 or 3 drink breaks, and then the kids love at the end when they can slam the balls in the bag and do the cheer. And
that's funny.
Aww.
That's funny. Did you grow up playing sports?
Yeah, I did.
What did you play?
I played all of them. I played soccer, volleyball. I was on the Baltimore City rowing team at one point in high school. I played softball, but like majority of those when I was a kid, I played for my church, the one that Heather went to, Greater Grace. I'm pretty sure Heather was probably on the teams too. But my brother, he's like really big in soccer, like really big. I'm pretty sure he did varsity for Archbishop Curley. So he would. Maybe I should connect you guys.
Could be a good coach.
Yeah.
So one of the things that's the most challenging to watch from the outside is like these families that kind of have to choose to put their kid into a sport. So most commonly around us, it's going to be like lacrosse or baseball or soccer or football. And then it becomes like encompassing the entire year, right? Like you can only play that one sport because it becomes so overwhelming. Yeah. Do you know of any other organizations that are run kind of similarly or in alignment with you guys where someone could participate in, let's say, baseball, softball, and soccer at the same time?
Yeah, there are a few that I don't know. There's a few that do soccer like us. And then, doing basketball, I think like I-9 does similar. Like they do like basketball and T-ball. And that's something we've also explored doing eventually. That's on the radar for probably 2027 because we want to try to catch the wave of the World Cup next year, get that excitement and catch it. But yeah, that's one of the things that keep us going because we've toyed around with like adding an extra day for some of the age groups, but some of the parents are like, well, my kid wants to do swimming, my kid wants to play basketball, my kid wants to do this, but we also want to play soccer, and that's what they like our son because we have some families that sign up every season, every year, all 4 seasons. And then we have parents and some families that we know every fall they're going to sign up with their kids until they age out. And then we had one family that they were with us from the time their child was 18 months until they aged out when we were just doing it up to 9 years old. And she made a quilt out of it because we try to give different color shirts every season. So it'll take probably 4 or 5 years before they would see a similar color. And she cut out like the logo with the color and made it like a quilt. And it's pretty awesome.
That's super cool. Yeah, the engagement with the community is something that we don't talk a lot about when it comes to like rec sports, but I feel that can be a real integral way for kids. Are your kids doing anything with like fundraising or, the old school, like selling candy bars or car washes or anything else to raise?
No, we don't really do anything like that because, like I said, we're not like a team.
Yeah.
Like it's just like a group. So it's like people, so it's just people from the neighborhood that sign up for that particular time slot. We've thought about trying to do that. We've some other things we want to try to incorporate is work with like maybe a local restaurant that has a big enough space to where we do like a meet the coaches day, and then the families can meet other kids that are signed up for their group and pick up their T-shirts, pick up like anything else that they may have purchased. Because we also do like T-shirts, water bottles, bags.
You have
stickers.
to do like a seafood place though.
Yeah, that's
you have to.
What's
he has to. His name is Crab. It's Crab Kickers.
Oh, and then get this with the age groups. So our mommy and me, we call them the soft shell crabs. Then the 3-4s,
That's cute.
3-4s are the blue crabs.
That's
and
cute.
then the 5-6 steam crabs, and then the 7, 9, 10, 12s are the king crabs.
That's cute. That's well done. Great marketing there. I do know of a number of restaurants that would like participate in that. For nothing else, I mean, Baco in Abingdon or Bel Air area, they do that already for some of the organizations. And there's a restaurant going into Towson called Rocco's and THB. And I mean, I'm sure that when you get into like the seafood restaurants, Papas and Conrad's Crabs and the others would probably be willing to participate. It's just, I don't know, it's one of those things that we don't think about consciously, and especially with some of the challenges present in social, how do I say this without being inappropriate, right? Like social or socioeconomic challenges that we have, especially here in our city. I think that a lot of them, we look very reactively, like, oh, the police need to get involved. Well, but what are we doing at a foundational level to get kids like the structure and the organization and Saturday mornings from 11 to 1, right? That's so imperative for kids, especially for young kids, to develop those habits and those rituals. Participating in the community is one of them.
And we did, the last 2 years, we've also partnered with Baltimore County Public Schools, and we do after-school programs at some elementary and middle schools. One of the middle schools, they used us they had a lot of kids, they were having attendance issues, behavior issues. So they set it up where we were coming on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and Wednesdays they were doing like a tutoring session, and you had to attend all three and be at school on time to attend the soccer stuff. And they actually wrote a letter on our behalf saying how it helped improve their attendance. So we took that, went to other schools. And
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So we're up to... We got, I think we're at 23 schools now.
Damn.
And so,
is that local to Baltimore County?
Yeah, that's just Baltimore County. Each school system has a different application
of
process.
Course, yeah.
So it's like the Baltimore County one seemed to be the simplest one, and Baltimore City, that one we're going to be going through soon, and then Harford County we went through, and then we're just waiting to hear back from them. But that's been
and one of the other challenges is also getting the engagement from the community, because you need coaches, you need mentors, you need leaders. And especially if you're going school to school and you're probably talking about a smaller organization. So it really does take like that extra level from a teacher that wants to do something, maybe make a little bit of money on the side, I'm sure.
Our coaches are paid. We try to, well, for the most part, we get a lot of emails from parents like, oh, I want to coach my kid's group. And we're like, no, we pair our coaches and we try to avoid having that parent coach. So that's another thing that's different that way. Because we don't want that in both ways. Oh, that they're favoring their kid or they're being harder on their kid.
Man, I wish my dad heard that. You could favor your kid from time to time. My dad was the one that would be like, no, sit down, right? Like it was really tough, being an athlete, having a parent athlete or parent coach, but also I've seen it from the other side because I've officiated sports and coached sports and watched the parents and the involvement. And it's like, you're not helping. Like, quite frankly, you're hurting, right? Yeah. You're hurting the forward progress of your kid, their development, their growth, because for nothing else, they're not gaining that competency to understand that they have to compete for this position. So I don't know. My dad coached my baseball teams when I was like little, and some of my soccer teams, but that went away when I was getting older, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, in the end, what do you guys see the crab kickers becoming? You mentioned talking about like t-ball and softball and other things too.
And that's I've had that, like I have like pages full of ideas. Like I'm like, oh, I want to do it, but there's so little time to like implement that. But that's ultimately the goal, is to add either like a kickball, t-ball. I know you mentioned volleyball. I've talked to some parents that volleyball is becoming really big, but there's not a lot of
coaches
or volleyball like
facilities.
Yeah. Even that, because some of the locations that we run in, we have a big enough area that we could do soccer on one side and like t-ball, kickball, do an outdoor volleyball like clinic style right next to it, and it would work. And that's another too, is getting the quality coaches. And we don't, for the older age groups, we try to get coaches that have experience with soccer. But for the younger age groups, we found some of our better coaches have never played soccer before. They're just really great with kids. Yeah. And they use our curriculum and they're fun with the kids. And that's the key. Sometimes we get people that apply for coaching with us and they're like, oh, I don't have soccer experience. But like, look, the key is you got to be engaging with the kids, keep them active, keep them moving. And that's the key, is just wanting the kids. You want them at the end to not be like, oh yeah, I'm glad it's over. Like you want them to be like, oh man, I can't wait till next week.
Right. I can imagine your background kind of facilitates that, right? So from teaching, kind of leading that charge, if you will, kind of facilitates that approach. Have you reached out to other teachers to get, I guess, more coaches, more instructors?
Yeah. So typically, like when the season's over, before we start our next one, we'll reach out to like schools and the principals and say, hey, can you share this with your staff,
right?
Because we have there's actually a couple of custodians from Harford County that coach for us.
Damn.
And then we have the high schools, when we email like, hey, if your guidance counselors know anybody that would be really good with kids, or some high schools have those childhood development classes, and anybody in there that would be good with kids, and we'll get them in there, and they usually co-coach with one of our experienced coaches for a little bit before we send them off on their own.
Damn.
I low-key want to sign up.
Yeah, I was thinking Gerard would be a good fit too, right? He's already a teacher. He's already engaged with like kids. He seems really great with young ones.
Do they have to be a teacher or work in the school?
No. We have coaches from all walks of life. Like,
oh my gosh, I would
like
love
realtors?
to be like I would love to be like a youth volleyball coach. That would be so
Oh
cute.
my gosh. I can't even imagine that. And you
I
weren't even the
love
one that
that.
had the volleyball scholarship.
I know it was Donnell, but I
That's
actually played on a
wild.
team for 4 years, and I was the captain for 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like kind of in there. when
Just
you
a little
guys asked
bit.
that question, I was like, I didn't get a scholarship. Are you talking about me?
I didn't have anything to do with that. That was all Ryan Curley, and I was very impressed with it, by the way. Yeah, so your kids, are they playing in crab kickers?
My younger two are, my oldest, she's in high school now.
Okay.
So she did volleyball the last couple years in middle school, and now she's cheerleading.
Oh.
Okay.
So she's never cheerleaded before, but she went completely.
I mean-
because she's tall too, and I'm like, oh, volleyball, and then you could possibly get a scholarship for college. And
She could get a scholarship
Yeah,
for cheerleading.
yeah, she could.
She could do anything she wants.
Yep.
Right? And your younger boys are engaged in...
Well, I have my younger two. It's a boy and a girl.
Okay.
And they do crab kickers. They usually go around with me. Like if I have to fill in for a coach, and they're with me, they'll come and they'll play for a little bit.
And how old are they?
Mason is 6 and Emma is 5.
Oh, okay. So they're young,
close,
young.
yeah.
Got it. Well, that's exciting. What do you see, like, how do you see sports impacting them? How do you see sports impacting young people in general? And, like, what's different between today and we were talking earlier off air about how we grew up in sports? Like,
Yeah, I just think sports in general, or anything like an activity where you're around other kids, is always important because you'll get to interact with other kids. You're not just by yourself. Where, you know, if you're home by yourself and you're like, oh, I can just do whatever I want. I get it. You got to share a little bit, and they're fighting over one ball. Like, oh, let them have that this time, and you get it next time. But I really think, especially since COVID, like I think it's important, like these, because now the COVID babies are 5 and 6 years old now.
Yeah.
And
That's crazy.
That's crazy thing.
yeah.
And just
think about your 8-year-old kids, right? They were just developing, just getting to that point of, like, kindergarten.
And
They
needing to
didn't have
socialize.
school, right, for years. That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's the key thing is getting them out, interacting with other kids.
Putting the phones down.
Putting the phones
iPad
down.
babies.
Yeah.
iPad babies.
Yeah. And because that also seems like we were talking about, it seems like if you're going to play like basketball or soccer, it's either club for soccer, or AAU for basketball. There's not really that in between or anything for somebody who just wants to go out and have fun. Like just like in the area I live in now, Overley, their rec program used to be really strong in soccer. It's not around anymore. It's basically they have partnered with a club that uses their fields, and that's like the extent of their
They
rec.
don't have, like, Baltimore County rec soccer?
Well, they still do, like some areas, but Overley Rec doesn't. Like Rosedale Rec, they have their soccer program, and the woman that runs that, she's really built that back up, because Rosedale had soccer, it seemed to has gone away for a while.
Yeah.
And she's really built that up, and has got that program really active on social media, things like that. And but yeah, just there's like, and that's where I think I hate to say this, but if the Recs were like doing what they were doing, there wouldn't be a need for like a crab kickers or soccer shots I-9. But I mean, and I've talked to some rec leaders. The toughest part for them is with, I guess they say, like the economy and everything, with the lack of volunteers now. It's tougher because people they're working extra jobs, or they just don't have that time to volunteer, and we run into it. Even we pay our coaches, and sometimes it's tough to get coaches. I coach more than I probably should be, and then because my bookkeeper, she's based in Arizona, and she has a podcast I listen to all the time, and when I talk to her about once a month, and she's like, "How much do you coach this week?" I was like, "I've been out almost every night." And she's like, remember, she's like, you gotta stop working in your business and work on your business.
Oh,
and
my gosh.
she's always hammering me on that. She's
Oh
like,
my God, don't get him
she's like,
started. Do not get him started.
It's crazy. Like, I just logged into the Baltimore County Rec and Parks website, which, by the way, it's not awful, but it's not attractive. But I just logged into their website, and it's amazing how they've broken down, right? Like Cockeysville rec soccer, Catonsville, Carroll Manor. They've got Dundalk, Hereford, specific communities, like hyper specific local communities. And I guess maybe, like mine was just called Reisterstown Rec, so they still have that, but they don't have that for every community. They don't have Owings Mills, or there's Overley Soccer, right?
If you click on that, it might take you into that club program.
Is that Spring Fall Outdoor? I mean, it doesn't specifically say, but it's just so interesting. Like, I didn't realize how in depth and like the dichotomy of youth soccer was.
Yeah.
I guess.
Because we're pretty much in every like location that even the Recs run. Because like we have programs just in Baltimore County, in Owings Mills, Towson, Cockeysville, Middle River, Perry Hall, Kingsville, Parkville.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so we're in a lot of those areas. But I think what helps us is that most of any of the rec programs either start at like 4 or 3, but we capture them early because we do that Mommy and Me program.
Yeah. Well, and that's going to help you, build your whole legacy. The aspiration is to continue to engage in the community and to give back. Do you guys have plans for like engaging or giving back into the community in that way?
That's one thing we've also looked into because some of the communities we're in, they even at our rates, like some families struggle to be able to afford it, and we've looked into trying to set up a scholarship program and something like that, something to where we can start doing fundraisers to try to add some money into like an account like that. But to get something set up like that, you got to jump through so many hoops, and it's
Really?
it's
wild.
It's like pages after pages, and like I've printed them off and I got some stuff, but it's so intense on like what they need, and I'm like, we're trying to help the community, and because like part of the plan is because we had to break down like, oh well, how are you going to raise money, and so we had to list like, well, some of our families are well off, so we're going to, when they sign up, like, hey, are you willing to donate like $1 or $2 to this scholarship fund, and then we got to go through like how step by step how we're going to filter out families that really need it versus families that are just trying to get on that, and so we got to like spell all that out, make sure it's and it also says on there like you must have everything. If you submit missing something, you got to start all over again.
Yeah. It's crazy how challenging they make it to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Hot take. What is the funniest moment that you've had in youth sports? Like most embarrassing, funniest?
I don't even know. Oh, I know. Actually, I do know. So I played youth sports at Greater Grace Christian Academy with my brother. And my brother is like, he might as well be a pro soccer player. Okay. And he went to that church for a short period of time. I went for almost my whole life, right? But I would take breaks here and there, come back. We played when I was like maybe like 7 and he was like 10, 11. I swear to you not, if I went into that church today, like I've gone when I was like 18, 20, and they're like, oh, how long have you been going here? I'm like, my whole life. Like, nobody knows who I am. And then I'm like, I'm Dino's sister. And they're like, oh, Dino. Oh, he's so good at soccer. Meanwhile, I'm like, I was on the team too. I was there too, guys. I swear.
That's funny.
So, yeah. So that was my villain arc. But, so yeah.
How about you? Funniest moment?
I don't know. Funniest moment. The only thing that popped in my head when you asked that question was, I was at Linover Park in Overley, and I was chasing a buddy around. It was after the game. We were chasing him around, and he stops, and I slam into his head and chip 2 teeth, and then my right eye just swells up. I was probably 7 or 8 when it happened.
Damn.
And it swelled up in the chipped tooth. Yeah, it's like, and I have to get it fixed every once in a while. It's still
does it re-chips? I have the same thing.
Re-chip and my best friend, my best friend, when we would hang out a lot, we're pretty much twins. Everybody asked if we were twins because we look a lot alike. We have the exact same chipped on tooth, same direction, same everything. And so when I have to get mine filled, because he's never had his fixed, but whenever mine falls out, like everybody's like, you guys got the same chip, you look the same height, same hairstyle. He's a little bit more bald than I am, but
natural baldness. Yeah. There you go. No, I think it's funny.
What's yours?
Oh, okay. So
you have to say it because you.
I have a lot, but I would tell you it was a lot funnier officiating than it was like playing. Mm-hmm. So some of the funny things that have happened when I've been officiating sports, like officiating wrestling, you've got 2 little kids and like, dads are on the sideline like yelling. And then you've got this kid that's getting beat up. I mean, nothing about it. Nothing is happening that's wrong, but the dad's like yelling and the kid's like, what do you want me to do? Right? Like it's just funny. Like kids say the darndest things. Mm-hmm. I've had kids that have gotten like hit in the nuts and they just make comments, inappropriate comments, but it's funny. It's hard to not be there to like support them and kind of like jestfully laugh about the situation.
Speaking of kids getting hurt and people laughing, I was out with Christian and Michaela the other night when we went to the Orioles game. And we were in, it wasn't Pickles, but it was the place right next to it.
Bullpen?
And a kid was, I don't know why there was kids in the bar. Anyway, but this kid face planted and Michaela goes like this. She's like, and she starts like tearing up, giggling. I'm like, Michaela.
I mean,
it's hard not to laugh though.
I think the thing about it is it's rewarding for me to see people like just being kids and like living life and running around and tripping on something, or like that moment, especially in soccer, where like someone tries to stop the ball, but they like put too much weight forward and they slide forward, like they roll over the ball. And it's just really funny. It's not like you're laughing at them, but you're more laughing with them. And so of all the things that I've experienced in my athletic, adventures, everything has always come down to something that someone said, because they just say the funniest things, right? Like, I don't know.
Inappropriate.
Not necessarily, just like funny. Like, I officiated wrestling, and I had two kids that it was in Baltimore City, and they're not particularly great programs, and they're wrestling, and I just stopped the match in the middle of the match for no reason. And I looked at them both, and I said, "What are we doing?" And they're like, "We're wrestling." And I go, "It kind of looks like you're fighting each other, and you're both really bad at it." And both coaches heard me say it. They both kind of like chuckled, and then we went back to wrestling, but it's just like, they took a second, they took a deep breath, and they weren't like trying to punch and hit each other, but they started actually like doing wrestling moves. It wasn't a particularly attractive wrestling match, but you just get in their head, you get in their ear, and you like make that one shift that can really, and literally for me, has changed other people's lives. And you don't realize how much of an impact that, mommy and me session may have for that family, that parent, that kid, for the rest of their lives. And that's what I find really cool about youth sports.
Yeah, so it'd be awesome one day to one of the kids make it professional, and they ask them where they got their start, and they say crab kickers.
You know what? What's crazy? I was in our industry. I was meeting with a home inspector, and we were at THB, and I had two young kids come up to me in like sweatpants with like the Towson logo down the side, whatever. And they said, "Hey, did you used to coach soccer?" And I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "I think you were our coach." And it had been a couple of years, and I had forgotten about it. And we reconnected the dots. We ended up doing a real estate transaction together because the one had gotten his real estate license. And at the end of the transaction, he had said something to me that there was a moment, and I remember this like it was yesterday. We were at Pikesville High School because that's where I was coaching, and I was mad at them because they were being teenage kids. And I made them run the full perimeter of the property, which is supposed to be like through the trees, down the hill to the sidewalk, right? But I didn't really care if they ran to the sidewalk as long as they went around the building. The building's big enough. And I grabbed our captain sort of like right before they all took off. I just grabbed him by the back of the shirt and said, "Hey, stay here with me." And he's like, "Why?" And I just said, "No, just wait. And when everyone else got through the trees and like couldn't see them anymore, I said, "Now I want you to beat them back here or you guys have to run again." And he told me that moment he never forgot, because by the time he caught up to the whole team, he was out in front and they realized that he was racing them. They couldn't catch him. He's like, if I just put that energy into everything in my life, it changed everything in my life. And so now today, proud moment, these boys, they're twins, they're 31, I think. They live in Miami. They don't work anymore. I think they work for fun, but they own a series of investment properties where Amazon rents the property from them. Like, yeah, right. Literally from 18 to 31, they sold all of their real estate portfolio to buy these warehouses, and Amazon rents from them, and that's their full-time income.
That is insane.
It's wild that moment, he traced that moment back, and he's like, "Do you remember this?" And I immediately remembered exactly what he was talking about. I can still remember it today. It had no meaning to me. I was mad at them, and I was like, they're going to run twice, right? But that little thing can be the difference maker for someone's life, like very, very literally. And I think that's what's really kind of like memorable about sports for me. I remember sliding on cardboard because it was raining and my dad wouldn't cancel practice, right? Like I remember doing dumb stuff, but it changes your life.
But
it really
what's
does.
really cool about that story, though? There's two different types of people. There's one type, like the one that you just said, that took that and like made a whole life out of it.
Yep.
And then there's the other type that looks at you and says, F this guy, he sucks.
Right. Right.
And like they're bitter about it, and then they never want to play a sport again. You know what I mean?
I mean,
like,
I've seen these boys do some really dumb things over the last, I guess, probably close to 15 years. I've seen some of them get married. I've seen many of them go off, and like one that I can think of, he's become a doctor. They just have done different things with their lives that like you get to see as they grow up. You've got them at 3 years old, mommy and me classes. Not only are you going to see them go through that, you're going to see them go through heartache and, you know, lifestyle change and family change. And I can't even imagine starting that young, but kudos to you for that engagement.
And that's some, because I've coached high school and college soccer and club for 20 years. And some of those kids, they're married now. They have kids of their own. It's crazy just to see how they've progressed. I was at an event a couple weeks ago, the Essex Day Festival, and ran into a mom, and I'm like, hey, do you remember me? And she looked, and she's like, oh, and she was out talking about her son Josh, and we were chatting because I messaged with Josh a little bit on Instagram, but then she's like, yeah, he's playing over 30 soccer now, and I'm like, oh man, he's that old now.
Yeah.
And but it's just neat to see like the different walks of life. Like some of my first or second year of coaching high school, I had to kick a kid off the team. Best player, but it's just attitude couldn't.
Yeah.
I've ran into him since then. He's had his kid come through Crab Kickers, I think one or two seasons, and great guy, family guy, turned his life completely around, and got a lot of respect for him.
Yeah.
Went into the military, came out, has a beautiful family, and he's doing really well. And it's
nice.
And it's like I look back on that, and I think about that every once in a while. Like he was such a really good player. Like did I do something wrong kicking him off the team, or should I kept? But he turned out really well.
They all turn out good in their own way.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, thank you so much for spending some time with us. If you want to give everybody a shout out to like where they could find your Crab Kickers organization, where they can register, where they can look online for different of the 20 groups that you run.
Yeah, so our website's crabkickers.com. You click on there, click on programs, and then click the soccer ball, and it'll show you the list of like all our locations. As we add locations, it'll at the top it'll show new locations, and then below that's a list of like all our current locations. And then if any parents, if we don't have a program in your area and you would like to bring you'll have us bring a program, please reach out and we'll see what we can do.
Your website is robust for what it's worth. I'm on here right now. After school programs, Crab Kickers Cup, elite training programs. It's really cool. And there are a lot of other organizations. If you guys are looking for them, you can always find more information on our website under frankoliverco.com. Under additional resources, find the blog. Like if you haven't heard that before, I feel bad for you already. But you can find more information about that. And we have some connections to different organizations for more elite level or more remedial level, more one-on-one training. And I'm sure you could give people a lot of recommendations too. How can people find the Crab Kickers on Instagram?
It's Instagram and Crab Kickers.
Love that. Love that. You guys know you can find me on Instagram at michael.frank____. And Marissa, how can people catch up with you if they want to?
On Instagram, Marissa the Realtor ___.
Love that.
Yes.
We'll catch up with you guys real soon. What's up, guys? Thanks for watching. For more information on the housing market, Real Estate 101, how you can leverage your position in today's market, and so much more, click on the link below. If you like this video or have a burning real estate question you'd like us to answer, leave us a comment and let us know. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode, and we'll see you again real soon.